Well, good afternoon. It is early on Friday, the 25th of October. Mike Elerath is traveling. I'm here with the wonderful, the incomparable, extremely learned Michael Harding of Keller Williams um, Realtors. And we're going a little bit early here due to scheduling stuff. Right now at Friday at 12:35, Dow is off 2.64% for the week. The NASDAQ composite is off 0.25%. We've got, I'm going to move you down a little bit so I'm not looking like I'm in a well here. Um, we have the S&P 500 off 0.91%. Part of the reason that it's a little soft this week, the 30-year Treasury is up 11.9 basis points to 4.499% in annual yield. So we're hoping that inflation is not still peaking up, but that might be the case. In any event, big news this week, of course, was earnings came out of for Tesla, and the stock is kind of back in play again. Was up about 20% yesterday on good earnings, and is up another 2.79% today. So the happiest person is probably Elon Musk, and the second happiest is probably Donald Trump. And in fact, DJT, the Donald Trump um, uh, Trump Social is up about 10% right now. So kind of interesting week. But what's happening in real estate this week there, Michael?
Well, Bill and everyone, last week we did not meet, and it was an interesting week because there was an incredible jump in both the list price and the sold price, but there wasn't much activity otherwise. But yeah, both of them, I think, as you work on bringing that up, Bill, I think one was
Sure.
718,000 and the other one was 712. I may be mistaken. Um,
Here we go.
yeah,
You're
it
there.
was pretty drastic increase. If you look at I did some rounding. So 711,854 was the average list price last week, and the average sold price was 718,870. Um, there just was no real explanation there. I did put in the notes that there were 35 of the solds um, were greater than 700,000, and I don't remember the number that was north of $1 million. But that still doesn't explain such a drastic increase. 12 were greater than $1 million. So,
Yeah.
and there were two in the $2 million range and one in the $3 million range of sold. So that explains the potentially explains the increase in the sold price, but not the list price. So it's going to be interesting to see how that impacts the market in the coming weeks because what is listed at a price may be sold somewhere near that price, and so it's going to bump everything up to average sold price in the future if it continues to hold that level. But overall, there hasn't been too much of a change, with the exception of last week. Um, I still don't know what to make of it. I'm just totally befuddled as to what's going on. But hopefully that's not the trend because that places way too many families out of reach of being homeowners, if that is the trend of such rapid growth.
Um, yeah. Well, the mortgage rates aren't really cooperating right now. I saw,
No.
particularly with that 30-year Treasury going up here. While you're talking, let me just look at Freddie Mac. Um,
Yeah. The I heard that there's concern that the Fed chair won't be as aggressive. Well, the Feds in general. It's not just the chairman that makes the decision. He makes the announcement, but they vote on it as a committee, how much to raise or reduce the basis, the interest rate. So, um, but the concerns that he won't the feds won't be as aggressive reducing the rate in the future because um, the data is showing that the inflation rate is slowing. But then if you listen the next day, the sky is falling and they may need to double down. So it's just a wait and see. Any idea, Bill, when the next Fed meeting is going to be?
Um, yeah, obviously it's coming. It's coming up. Let me look. Just look. It's coming at us like a freight train. November 6th and 7th. So, boy, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be a full week. The day after the election.
That's a heck of a week. You got the election on the 5th, then the Fed meeting on the 6th and 7th, and so it's going to
Assume
be
the crash
interesting.
position, I guess, is what we're saying.
Yeah,
um, well, mortgage rates, this just came out today. So the 30-year mortgage, 6.54 up from last week, 6.44. But of course, down from a year ago at 7.79%.
yeah.
15-year, 5.71, up from 5.63 last week, but down from a year ago at 7.03. So things aren't too wacky yet.
You know, I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago with someone about the benefits of a 15-year mortgage versus a 30-year mortgage. And this person suggested, because I was saying, take a an elderly couple in their 60s, and uh, would it be better for them to get a 30-year mortgage or a 15-year mortgage with the intent of paying extra, pay it off sooner rather than later? And she said to go with the 30-year mortgage um, because it just offers a lot more flexibility. And I thought that that was odd because if you take a 30-year mortgage and you want to pay it off and you do that old trick where you pay extra and you reduce it by 7 years, you're still looking at 82, 83 before that mortgage is paid off for
Well,
a couple in their 60s
I mean, it
at
really,
60.
yeah, making extra payments would make sense on a 30-year, particularly if the person is concerned, that they're going to be cash flow constrained at some point, because the difference in payment, between the two is fairly substantial. So, like I said, 6.54 versus 5.71, you're talking, a difference of 0.8%, on an annual base, which isn't all that much. And of course, if you can front load paying down the 30-year, um, because so little of the initial payments go towards paying down the principal, and most of it goes towards the interest. You can improve it substantially. So that's the trade-off between money and flexibility, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I just thought it was interesting because I was talking with the couple that's approaching 60, and the husband has some health issues, and so his concern is leaving his, if something were to happen to him, he would leave his wife with the mortgage, and um, he was just hoping that getting a 15-year mortgage and paying extra and reducing that rate, the length of the mortgage would be beneficial. But um, I haven't spoken with him since I shared that news with him because he said he'd get back to me, but he has yet because he and his wife they're still talking things over.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what they decide.
Yeah. Um, you know, but the nice thing about the U.S. mortgage system, the 30 and 15 year, they're pretty competitive on rates now, and they're pretty, you know, they're pretty plain vanilla, and we're not seeing any of the wacky, pay option arms or any of that stuff out there. So, that I think that's a good thing, and it offers kind of the best trade-off between interest rate risk, payment shock, flexibility, and
Yeah,
reasonable rates right now. So,
yeah, it's going to be interesting. So mind if we switch gears and any big companies reporting earnings this coming week?
None of the real big ones I saw. There are a lot reporting. Other than the other one was Tesla. I'd have to look. I kind of run a report now, but I saw that there are like 1,600 um, companies reporting between now and the 31st. But that's kind of an overwhelming number, to try and analyze with that. Um, so I don't. I mean, I can do a quick check here.
Didn't Nvidia report better than expected earnings?
Um, yeah, they did on the last one. Here we go. Let's go to the earnings calendar. Earnings calendar. There we go. So you got, of course, the cruise lines. Looks like Carnival on. That's not right. Hang on. That's I'm off by a month. Sorry about that. Well, let's see. Monday we got waste management, cadence design, F5. Nothing really major there. Tuesday, Google on Tuesday, Visa, um, Pfizer. Yeah, a couple big ones. That could be of interest. Um, let's look at Wednesday. Microsoft on Wednesday. Meta, Facebook, Lily. Yes, so Coinbase. That's going to be for the cryptocurrency aficionados. Thursday, Apple, Amazon, Mastercard, and on Friday, Exxon, Chevron. Um, those are the big ones. So yeah, we got some fairly significant earnings coming next week, and then of course the week after that, like we said, we have the week from hell between the
Yeah.
election and the Fed meeting.
Hell week.
Yeah, sell week. Do your push-ups. Be ready to
Yeah,
go.
carry the log.
But yeah, that'd be kind of interesting.
It's going to be interesting.
So anything you'd like to add? We'll keep it
No,
short.
sir.
Okay, well,
Yep.